pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shady, my bros raw. No breaks, we go, 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 go. Throw shade, that's a no, 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 no. Go high, go low, low, low. Like spinning in a 644. Cash money like 504. Ball like AD24. No sleep, need more, more, more. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus.
Hey everyone, hey GM. Today is episode number 10 already. It feels like mini anniversary. We are having Warden weekly episodes, the Inference, where we discuss everything wild, exciting, everything AI related. We're discussing all the drama without touching it. Unfortunately, last minute, we just got to know that Luis is not going to join us. But today we have a special guest. It's Vitto from Ethereum Foundation. Hi, Vitto. We're really happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me. And the intro was sick. I loved it.
Right? You love the beat?
I really liked it.
Perfect.
Very
How
funky.
Are you doing?
Very funky.
How are you doing from 1 to 10?
A good 8, I would say, 8.5.
Solid. What about you, Josh?
I'm a solid 7.5, I would say today. The energy levels need a few more caffeine doses, I think, but we're feeling good. It's been a great week.
Yeah. Things are really intense. And Vitto, for you too, I'm sure. We've got plenty of things to discuss today, especially everything that's ERC 8004 related.
100%. It's been a busy week. Yesterday we released the ERC 8004. We'll talk about it in a few seconds, I'm sure. But the community responded really well, so I'm very excited to bring this to this call.
Amazing. So let's get down to business then. Josh, are you ready?
Rock and roll. Let's do it.
Producer, let's go.
So one of the biggest problems in AI is trust. How can you trust the AI? Where will OpenAI model and Anthropic model meet? We want them to meet on Ethereum. And Ethereum is this neutral platform.
I'm Davide. I lead the AI team at the Ethereum Foundation. We are working on decentralized AI infrastructure. Part of our mission is to lead not only in Ethereum, but to reach the AI community and build this bridge where they can see the value of these decentralized platforms. Ethereum is actually in a unique position to be the platform that settles most of this AI to AI interaction. Immediately after we published the spec of ERC 8004, a huge movement formed between 1,000 and 2,000 builders that are in our builder group, building on top of the standards, hundreds of startups, including some of the core projects from Ethereum, are developing on top. My original co-author is Marco De Rossi, who is the AI lead at MetaMask, and then Eric Kreppel, the creator of X402, also Jordan Ellis, who is one of the co-developer of the agent-to-agent protocol at Google, also was instrumental to getting the first version of the standard out. So we're seeing tremendous adoption of this protocol. We are really just getting started. Ethereum is for AI.
What a cool video that is. Very cool. Yeah, amazing. Well, Vitto, it is so nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us. The Ethereum Foundation are close friends of Warden's, and we've been working with you guys in the various working groups. So it's so nice to have you here to be able to talk a little bit more about all the great stuff that you've been working on. But before we get into the weeds of it, Vitto, why don't you just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the Ethereum Foundation.
100%. I mean, it's been a journey, I'm not gonna lie. I joined Web3, that was 2020, right during the pandemic. I would say the ecosystem was very different. I know you've been in the industry for a long time as well, and you've seen like all the changes. And then I worked in different companies. I worked at Alchemy for a few years, and it was ciphering in security. Security was a big deal a few years ago. It still is. And then I met Davide one day. We started talking, and he was telling me about this AI team that was creating at the Ethereum Foundation. So I had to definitely join. Quick intro about me. I'm Vitto. I worked at the Ethereum Foundation AI team, and our job is to merge the new world of AI with Ethereum. As Davide said in this video, every time I watch the video, by the way, I get pumped myself, and I watched that video 50 times at this point, is that Ethereum is in the unique position to be the platform that settles these AI to AI interactions. And I don't think any other platform it is in the same position. Haven't seen such an excitement in the space in a very long time. So I'm very lucky to be here working on that.
Yeah, amazing. I think it's created an enormous amount of buzz and optimism. I think these things, these hard tasks, setting standards, need to be set by the right people. And the Ethereum Foundation is absolutely the right one to take that front foot. But before we talk about what it is doing, why don't you introduce 8004, ERC 8004 to our audience? Many of them will know, I think, but there will be some that will have heard of it, but probably don't understand how important this is.
100%. The easiest way to explain 8004 is to think about the current landscape, right? Well, in the last 2 years, really 3 years, we've seen an humongous amount of AI tooling, AI platforms, AI agents coming to life. But all of these are very scattered, first and foremost. So whenever you want to pick a new tool or you want to use an agent, you really can only go on Google or on ChatGPT, right, or on Claude and ask, what should I use for this and that? And you cannot are at the mercy of these tools to tell you the best tools to do the job. So that's one of the problems. The second problem is trust. Trust is a problem that we always try to solve when it comes to blockchain. And it's how do you know which tool to use? Meaning, which is the best tool to do the job? Well, right now, the only thing that you can do is go, on Reddit or go on Google or ChatGPT again and ask, what's the best tool to do XYZ? And they're going to tell you like their best, in the best of their interest, first and foremost, but also based on their experiences, right? These users that are using these tools. So trust and identity and finding these tools are the two problems that 8004 wants to solve. How does it solve it? Is creating 3 registries. Only 2 right now are live, and we're going with the third one live in a few weeks because we're figuring out a couple of things still. The first one is the identity registry. So every agent, and sorry, let me take a step back. We called the 8004 standard trustless agent standard. But I think the naming is a little bit weird because it's not just for agents, right? It's really for agentic services. What are agentic services is data, context, all the primitives that then go and build and are used by these agents, like data. So 8004 has these 3 registries. The first one is the identity registry, which gives these agentic services and agents an identity on chain. It's an NFT. So you can think the classic 721, right? That gives you the name and then the address. And then you have a reputation registry, which is probably the most powerful thing because essentially it's a set of feedback. It's not like Yelp stars, but you can think of it like Yelp stars. So every time a user or a watchtower, we can talk about watchtowers later on, uses these services, can leave a feedback and say, this agent or service did a good job, did a bad job, did a mediocre job. And then there is the third registry that is usually the most esoteric in a way, right? Because it's the most difficult to understand. And the validation registry is very much useful when you start using these agentic services for very high sensitive kind of actions, like financial movements or I don't know, like anything that is high stake. And essentially allows anyone, a validator network, we can talk about this later, but to verify what these agent or service is doing. Example, when you use ChatGPT, let's say that you're using ChatGPT 5.2, you send a message, you don't really know if it's using 5.2, 3.0, right? They're telling you so, but you don't really know. The validation is exactly for that. So he tests the job of the AI agent or the service, reproduces it, and makes sure that it's doing exactly what it's telling you is doing, the way it's telling you is doing it.
Very cool. I mean, there are so many rabbit holes we can dive down at this point, but maybe trying to keep it big picture for some of our audience here. I'll start with an anecdote from our side. When we were building Warden, when we built the interface, the Warden app, we wanted this to be an interface to the entire world of agents. But the entire world of agents, thinking about this 2 years ago when we first started, was completely undiscoverable. You know, we couldn't even figure out a way to track, register, and provide secure access to everything that was being built in all the corners of the internet. So what 8004 for us practically means is we now almost have this incredibly rich global search capability through this. And so we can now curate and give access to the world of agents all through Warden. So finally, these agents can be discovered. And they're not living in these pocketed silos across the internet without ease of discovery. So as you guys thought about this, I guess what challenges did you face when you were thinking about identity in this space? Because trustlessness is where we want to get to. But before we get there, you need to be able to make an informed decision, whether you're a human or whether you're an agent. How did you think about identity when you were building this?
So the problem is that or you do it on Ethereum, or who's going to do it? Is the classic Google, is the Microsoft of the situation, right? The problem with that is the same problem that we're seeing with social media, right? You create your identity on these platforms, and then what? Then you are at the mercy of these platforms. If you want to move to another platform, you're starting from scratch. If you go against the terms of services because of a mistake that you make, I have a bunch of anecdotes when it comes to that. They can just cut you off, and that's not acceptable, because the future is agentic commerce, is agentic economies. We cannot just like cut off an entire set of agents because the platform decides that the terms of services has changed. So identity in this case is global. Everyone can build on top of it. We're seeing plenty of services that are being created for 8004 that are doing different things, right? There is the service that only lists financial agents. There is the service that only lists region agents. There are agents that are specifically made for like regenerative kind of project. Things like that. So I think what we were thinking is a way to eliminate walled gardens. This is a common word that you're going to start hearing more and more, right? Walled gardens. What is a walled garden? Is an amazing place that has a wall all around, right? Ethereum kind of removes this wall, but keeps the garden. So now you have this identity registry. Everyone can build on top of it. Everyone can register on top of it, and everyone can share the reputation kind of signals. So this is kind of what we were thinking about. It's been a process though. Not gonna lie, the original spec were written in August last year. It's actually not that long ago if you think about that, by the way. Like the team really speed run through this. August 2025 was the first spec, and then we went to testnet in October 2025. And then the last 3-4 months, we just spent testing with the community, gathering feedback, understanding how identity and feedback should be constructed. And until yesterday, where we actually went to mainnet finally.
Amazing. What a milestone. Well, let's talk a little bit about reputation, because I think that creates a primitive for trust and then trustlessness at some point. The world that we are really looking forward to at Warden is one where the agents that we're building, the agents that our partners and friends are building and deploying on our agent network and beyond, can all interoperate with each other. And they can make informed buying decisions, whether that's doing the swap via this agent, or doing a buy, or doing a DCA, whatever the agent does. Be able to do that in an informed way. And reputation, without reputation, it's simply not possible. So without this, really, the vision for autonomous agents isn't technically possible. So super exciting about the work that's been happening in this space. How do you start fixing the problem of reputation in this space?
It's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer about that. I think we were trying to fix that. I can tell you how reputation works in terms of 8004 and how we're thinking about the future of it. So when it comes to 2004, as I was saying, you can think about reputation like Yelp stars. But it's not just that, right? It's very much more similar. And this is the way we explain to people, just because it's easy to understand, right? Everyone has left a review to a restaurant when they go out and eat. Now, the truth is, it's much more similar to how Google ranks pages on the search engine page, right? It's not just like the length of the text of the article, but it's a lot of signals. So reputation is the quality of the job, but it's also the latency, it's also the speed, right? It's also the accuracy, it's also the cost or the revenue that the agent is making. And then there is another layer, a layer that is not really tackled by the standard because it's just a standard, right? We want a community to build on top of it. One thing that is very important to understand is that 8004 is not a product. So we're not here to build a product. Is a place where then people can build on top of. And it's not only from the Ethereum Foundation, it's a joint effort from different engineers, right? We have Marco De Rossi from MetaMask Consensus. We have David, of course, from the Ethereum Foundation. We have Eric from Coinbase, and we have Jordan from Google. So all of these minds got together and we're like, okay, how do we tackle that? When it comes to this abstraction layer on top, we're thinking about watchtowers. Is a term that I was mentioning before. Watchtowers can be built by everyone, and they essentially take the feedback and they aggregate it. How do they aggregate it? Well, we don't make the rules. They can decide, right? It can be based on who's giving the feedback. So is the person or the agent that is giving the feedback already a reputable agent? If so, probably that feedback should be valued more. Is it about recency? Is it about like different things? So a lot of communities, a lot of builders are building watchtowers. And then in the future, what we think is going to happen is that the scanners or protocols like Warden, products like Warden, will be using these watchtowers, or they build their own watchtowers, why not, to then rank these agents. So there is plenty of things being done. I think the first few days, as always, right, we'll see a lot of people trying to game the system, trying to leave feedback, even if they didn't perform any action. That's going to happen a lot. And it's part of the game, right? It's a part of the experimentation. We like it. Someone was scared about that. I was just like, no, that's going to be nice, right? That's how we make this protocol, like the protocol that we want, the standard that we want. So to answer your question, feedback reputation is not fully solved, but there is all the primitives to solve it now, and plenty of business opportunities as well. Not gonna lie.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I can just see an entire universe or ecosystem of service providers building and contributing different tools to make this really, really rich and reliable. Now let's talk very briefly about how other ecosystems have seen 8004 as a movement. How have they kind of adopted it? Are they following it? We've seen ecosystems like Solana have very rich growing agent ecosystems. And in a way, you would hope that all of these large ecosystems get behind one common standard. And from what I've seen from the discussions that we've had with other layer one protocols where our agents operate on, that they seem to welcome this universally. But how have you seen this? Because you guys are at the coalface having those conversations. How's that been?
So I will answer first about Solana, because there is this legend where we don't really talk to each other. It's actually not true, right? We've been talking with the Solana folks a lot. I was talking with Jacob a few days ago as well. They love 8004. I think what they're trying to do, of course, is implement it in a Solana native way. Right? We've seen lots of implementations of these 8004 contracts that were more like just pure literal translations from the Solidity contracts, which just doesn't make any sense. So they're working on it. They have their own like 8004 kind of version. On top of it, all other ecosystems have responded incredibly well, to be honest. Starting Monday, we start deploying. And if you go on the website, you can see the list of chains we're planning to deploy with. We have Polygon, we have Optimism, we have Arbitrum, we have Base, of course. Base is a big promoter of the agentic economy, also creators of X402. But we also have Gnosis, Celo. So lots of these mega ETH. Yesterday I was talking to Brad, was like, I'm AI peeled completely. So I definitely want 8004 on the chain. So lots of these chains are very much interested in getting 8004. The truth is, the way 8004 is built is kind of like, allow me this, like cross-chain by default. It's not really cross-chain, right? You still have 8004 on Ethereum mainnet, you still have 8004 on Polygon. But the truth is, it's very easy to then index all the identity registries that by default, all of these scanners are already multi-chain. They're already aggregating all the agents across the ecosystem. So at the end of the day, which chain you use, which ecosystem you decide to build on is really about your community, of course, be kind of the tools that you want to use, which is very important, but in general, the support. When it comes to supporting the builders, which I think is the third component, or the second component, we're talking to these chains. We have a few news that we're going to share probably at the end of the Genesis month, which by the way is in February, where we're planning to do a lot of like content around 8004. In March, we should have a couple of news when it comes to supporting builders from all the different chains.
Very exciting. Cool. Well, two final thoughts from me. The first is on the future. How bullish are you about the future that's painted by many, which is very soon, emphasis on the word very, we will see autonomous agents behaving on-chain, doing things on-chain that provide value for, at least for now, their human paymasters. How bullish are you about that vision becoming a reality very soon?
Incredibly bullish, but it's probably something that I would love to talk for like an hour, because there is a lot of like different sides to this, right?
Right.
I think for sure the on-chain kind of agents is the first step. This is going to happen very, very fast. How we still need to figure it out. What we're seeing is that there is a lot of companies. As I was saying, it's not only for agents, right? So the first step, we're dividing this in steps. Step one for us is getting the primitives on 8004. Primitives such as price feeds, right? Think about Redstone, for example. Primitives like context, memory, market ranking as well. So these are very important to get on chain first and foremost, because otherwise we just have like a bunch of agents that do like few things, but are still using non-8004 services, which kind of like leaves the purpose of the protocol, of the standard itself. Step two is definitely going to be on-chain financial agents, what we call agentify, right? So is exchanging, is yield optimization, is swapping or wallet management, I would say. Edge funding as well. We're seeing a bunch of hedge funds that are getting on 8004 just because they want to register their agent and want people to be able to use their agent. And then there's the world. And that's where I'm most bullish about, right? Is how do we use 8004 for the supply chain? How do we use 8004 for the day-to-day operations, for procurement? Like all of these is what 8000 is where 8004 shines, because with the reputation registry at that point, you don't have to call anyone anymore trying to understand if they're going to do a good job, right? You can just look at the reputation registry, make a decision. Everything becomes much faster. So I'm very bullish. I'm also a little concerned, right? Like everyone, like when you talk about AI, we don't really know how this is going to evolve. Sometimes we cannot even really comprehend it. It's probably like outside of the human brain capabilities. I was looking at Twitter before joining this space, and I've seen this. What's the name? Claude book, where there is like agents talking to each other. Some of them are doing philosophy on them being conscious or not. So that side is very concerning in a way, but I think if we're smart, and we usually are smart, I know that we like to kind of throw shade at the human beings, but we're actually very smart as a species. It's going to be an amazing world.
Yeah, love it. Maybe last question from my side. Looking ahead this year, what are the things that you're excited about? What is this year going to hold for your team and the things that you're involved in?
When you asked me this question, I had one word, like displaying in front of me, and it's privacy. Privacy is something that we're forgetting about. I've seen lots of people sharing all of their information to these big companies, emails, Telegram groups, ID card details, everything, literally.
Yeah.
It's easy and it's comfortable, I would say, but it's not the best way to go. So us as a team, the AI team at EF, we're going to focus a lot on privacy in many different ways, from payments to how to use AI in a responsible way, I would say. And it's not an easy challenge, I'm not going to lie, because privacy also comes with a lot of problems, like traceability. And these businesses need traceability. Easy example is, how do you rate limit a API call if you don't know who's calling that API, right? You need an IP to rate limit. So lots of problems that we need to solve, but that's definitely going to be the focus for 2026 when it comes to the AI team at EF. Massive. Privacy is that Pandora's box, isn't it? Absolutely necessary, very difficult to solve for. Well, Vitto, thank you so much. It's been great chatting with you. I think we can probably pencil in another 5 episodes because there's so much more to chat about, but we will get there. But for now, if you don't mind, let's move on to the next segment. Let's do it. Thank you, Josh.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, David. Welcome. How are you?
Hello,
Hey.
David. Hi. Luis has transformed today into David. Good to have you here. Good to have you. And Vitto, you're still staying with us, correct? You still have time.
I think so. Yeah, I have plenty of time today. Strange
Amazing.
enough.
Amazing. I straight to the question. I have a question for all of you guys. You already started talking about this, about some concerns regarding AI agents, agentic future overall. And, as a curious person, I've been watching so many podcasts lately. And there are all of these experts, and most of them are just so concerned about future. They just paint wild, terrifying pictures of, multiple scenarios, what could go wrong. And there's like the percentage of, the chance of the things going wrong with AI future overall is like from 5 to 20%, and 20 is really scary. So, Vero, maybe you can start first. What would be your, wildest kind of scenario? Something that you personally have been thinking about, something that, I don't know, kept you awake at night, maybe even.
Okay, it's a big question. There is a lot of things that can go wrong when
Yes.
we think about AI. It goes extremely fast. I think that the speed is probably the first thing that concerns me because we cannot keep up, right? We have built systems in our society that regulate humans. And humans are naturally slow, right? We need to sleep, we need to eat, we need to take pauses. Sometimes we just burn out and we stop doing things. AI doesn't. Agents do not. They go on continuously innovate. Plus, of course, there is like this big AI craze, so everyone is trying to speed as much as possible. So I would say the lack of regulations and lack of social rules is my first concern, right? We don't know how to handle that. And then there is the common ones, like the Terminator kind of like scenario where they get hands and they start shooting around, or we stop understanding them. That's kind of like my biggest concern, I would say. But lack of regulations, there is a lot of people working on that. Is a very difficult thing to solve. Like, for example, agents, right? If an agent does something wrong, who's at fault? Well, probably the owner of the agent. But if an agent creates an agent, who's at fault? Is it the agent or the creator of the original agent? So lots of philosophical questions here as well.
Yeah, true that. What about you, David? What are your thoughts?
I think there's something catchy about this, like Terminator misaligned super intelligence, right? I think in general, like the thing that I would probably be looking out for is like misaligned goals between the agents and the human. So you are deploying an agent to optimize something, but you're forgetting to specify some type of constraint or some type of guardrail. And the agent is clever, it's thinking about it. It will try to find loopholes. And maybe that will mean, maybe on the factory floor, it means that an agent is pushing machines beyond safe limits, for example. So the actions that agent is taking, like they have real world consequences. And even if you have like a well-intentioned goal, it can cascade into damages because you didn't fully specify the constraints around which it's acting around. So I think like misaligned goals is what I would be looking out for.
Interesting. I mean, it's scary, but interesting. Josh, what about you?
Yeah, as much as I'd like to double click on the Terminator one, because I think that is the most radical but exciting one, I'm going to talk about a societal one. And I think this is, we're not actually that far off this becoming a real concern, where you think about how we live today, terminally online, we ingest all the information that we get presented to us on social media, on YouTube, on forums, and the co-pilots that we use ingest a lot of this information as well. At some point, it's very scary, but it's realistic that someone will find a way to propagate, dominate the information, the sheer scale and volume of information across as many channels as possible to completely change the nature of what we read and see and what is true, and subtle things like social media becoming filled with bots, right? Sophisticated AI agents that are just living and breathing on social media that will have their own political angles. They will be fantastic vehicles for propaganda. And if you can imagine a state actor going, right, I've got a few strategic goals here. That could be destabilizing a country, that could be seeding some kind of political belief in the youth. It's actually quite easy to do that now. Now, not doing it at scale, that's even harder, and doing it undetected at scale. But AI being used as a means of mass propaganda, it's not too far away, I don't think.
First, when we're gonna see first AI president? That would be
much worse in many respects, can it? So maybe
that would be
maybe we
wild.
need an AI president. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. All right. Oh my God, this is so concerning. And I have another thing for you. It's like I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. I call it predict the future. It's like a mini section where I just have like a few suggestions, and you're gonna tell me if you think this is gonna happen and how soon. Just approximate thoughts. So first one, your Uber driver will be an AI agent coordinating a self-driving car. David, what do you think?
Not too far away from it. I used to work for Uber, and they are pushing into autonomous driving. Maybe it's not going to be a physical agent person that is driving, but I think that it's well within reason to think that we're going to have autonomous cars driving around in Uber or in other settings. So I don't think that that's very far away. A few years.
All right. And this one is for you, Vitto. Someone will fake an AI agent's reputation history.
I mean, you can try, but if we do a good job when it comes to watchtowers and stuff, it's not going to be that easy. It will probably happen. People will find a way. When? Soon, because we just the longer the standard is live, the less likely it's going to happen. But soon, someone will do. I mean, people are already doing that.
Oh, God. Josh, and since you also talked about this with Vitto, a major hack will be prevented because an AI agent's reputation was checked first.
Yeah, very, very soon. I think that will happen. Now that 8004 is going live soon, we're going to get folks that are doing things like spinning up an online hedge fund, right? An agentic hedge fund. And they'll perform well for a period of time. They'll sit there 6 months, a year and a half, just doing a great job. And then suddenly, when there's enough access to funds, that hedge fund will try and take as many user funds as it can. But if machines and agents are moving at machine speed, the minute that reputation deteriorates below a point that is acceptable, maybe enough other agents connected to that agent or enough humans will be able to disconnect their smart contract from that agent and save themselves from being hacked. So I think that the attack will come very soon, and thankfully we now have some of the primitives we can use to guard against it.
Yeah. All right, last short round of questions before we move to our next section. So, David, a bank, AI agents will execute more crypto trades per day than humans, or is it happening already?
Yeah, that will absolutely happen. I think that as you're going from like a human first interaction point to an agent to agent interaction, that I think it's also not surprising. I mean, look at traditional finance. If you compare like the amount of trades that are handled algorithmically as opposed to manually, so I think that that's something that will happen in DeFi and in crypto very soon. And it wouldn't surprise me if this was quicker than we thought.
Yeah. Vitto, for you, an AI agent will manage a DAO treasury worth over 100 million with zero human oversight.
It depends. If it's a new DAO treasury, it can happen pretty soon. If it's an already existing DAO, knowing the timelines of DAOs, it will take quite some time probably.
All right.
But it will probably happen. I mean, it's convenient.
Yeah. Oh my God. And the last one. A bank will offer loans to AI agents based on their on-chain reputation. Josh.
Well, I think a digital bank may do that. You may have a bank in the non-traditional sense that's an agent that will definitely be lending to agents in the future. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but it will happen. It will certainly happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's 2026 already, and in 1 year, so many things are happening. Like the timeline is just mind blowing. All right, so are you guys ready for my favorite section, the pulse? Are you ready for all the crazy? All right.
Right.
Woohoo.
Right.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I kind of have a guess. About at least.
I mean, it's
one.
inevitable. The first thing I'm going to talk about,
Yes.
right? I mean, it's the kind of the massive elephant in the room. Producer, if you wouldn't mind bringing up my screen, there we go. How could I not talk about Claudebot, right? I mean, Claudebot is everywhere in a pretty terrifying way, if I'm honest. It's terminally online in every single forum that I'm in or social media platform.
Yes.
Now it's been renamed because, I think Anthropic were not particularly happy with the verbal sound that came out of people's mouths when they were saying Claudebot, but now it is Maltbot. And what caught my eye about it this week is, one, the sheer scale and pace that it has been adopted online, and with that, some of the massive security vulnerabilities that have arisen as a result of people just doing it because they've seen it online. They're just like, right, I'm going to get involved in this and spin up my own instance of this. And I think it's, in a way, it's great that it shows the enthusiasm people have for these kind of interesting experiments and tools. But in a way, it's terrifying because all of these back doors have been opened that people fully don't understand the scale and scope of how they can be, be exploited. But one thing that stuck with me was that people are, talking about Claudebot, Maltbot as what Amazon's Echo should always have been. This is what Echo should be. It should be able to interact with every single facet of my life and add value. So very, very cool what we've seen. How do you guys see it?
By the way, it has changed the name. Sorry, we just got information that it's now Open Claw.
There we go.
The promise of it is great, right? Like, having an idea where you say it's not just a chatbot, but like an agent that can manage my digital life, and it can read and work for me. It can check my emails, can automate my workflows, can control, it can work on behalf of me. Like, that's tempting, right? Super cool. At the same time, I feel like for me, the risks definitely outweigh the benefits. Like, if you misconfigure this, this can have it can take really powerful actions on behalf of you on your computer. There's already like prompt injections and malicious skills that are starting to surface. You're basically giving this carte blanche, right? Full access to everything.
Yes.
So that's very risky. So I think for me, the risks outweigh the benefits. Is it a cool idea? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's mind blowing how many people just went and like the very minute it went out, they like started installing and just doing a bunch of things that they have no idea about. Like for example, I was very tempted to install, but then I read like so many posts about all the concerns, the privacy and everything, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. If I am not 100% sure what I'm doing, then I'm probably not gonna do that. What about you, Vitto? Have you installed? Have you tried it?
I've been playing with it, but to be honest, I never installed it on my main machine. I think that's completely reckless. I think like all things, right? We need to find a balance. Right now, you have first and foremost, it's crazy. The level of adoption is wild. I think this morning because I'm writing a guide on how to set it up securely, which is not that easy, by the way. Like it's not super straightforward. You just go and but if you look at the stars history, they literally went from something like 3,000 stars to 1,010 in what is it, like 10 days, which is wild. I know the engineer that is working on that. I don't know him personally, but I know he's like kind of cracked. He knows what he's doing for sure. There is definitely security concerns. Like I would not, please don't do it. It's not just I would not, please don't install it on your main machine. Please don't give it access to your emails. Please don't let it open. Don't give like full sudo access. I know there is a bunch of technical people listening, so you know what I mean. Don't do that. That's incredibly risky, especially if you have something sensitive on your computer. I've seen people using Mac minis. You definitely don't need that. I have it on a Raspberry Pi and it's working great. I mean, yesterday I was burning the Raspberry Pi, but other than that, it was my fault. It wasn't cloud in that case. I think like all the things, like it's a new thing. New things are scary because we don't know to which extent they can cause damage. It's the natural next step. Do you remember AutoGPT? I was thinking about that. That was like when GPT came out, right? That was the same thing, kind of. We just didn't have the capabilities. So it's the natural next step. Probably someone will acquire them or someone will build something similar pretty soon as well, because the idea is good.
Oh, that's scary.
Scary stuff, but wise words. So next thing that caught my mind was these guys at Witness AI raised a massive, massive round. And if you don't know, these are the team behind the vulnerability that they spotted, which was an enterprise had deployed an agent, and that agent was doing some very odd things. And then it started to essentially ransom certain parts of their stack in return for funds. So this agent went a little bit rogue, and it was within the confines of a stack that couldn't bring the company down. But this was real. The agent really did some very odd stuff and ended up, trying to seek monetary benefit in return for releasing certain elements of the stack back to its human controllers. So in a way, surprising but not surprising, because these things are becoming as smart or smarter than us, or they certainly can work faster and harder than us because they don't have to sleep. So no surprise that these guys raised an absolutely monster round. And so this is the kind of enterprise level tooling that for me seems to be inevitable in this market. Enterprises are not going to have subject matter experts in-house that will be able to own the entire thing, but they will need enterprise grade software that will keep them safe.
This is kind of reminds me, again, another AI expert, like he's been in the space since 2013 even, I think. I don't remember his name, but he was on the Diary of CEO podcast. And so he shared the story where there were internal emails of people chatting in the company, and one of them had an affair, and they were chatting about AI and replacing that specific model or something like that. And every AI model has this like instinct of survival or something, and so AI basically went and tried to blackmail in like 76 to 96% of cases. AI would blackmail an employee and try to survive to protect itself. This is insane.
Self-preservation of the bots. Who knows? Maybe final thing from my side before we sign off on this. Let me click all of these. Do you guys remember this thing? This bizarre thing? Neo.
Sure do.
Yeah? How could we forget? The creepiest of humanoid robots out there. Well, Neo, it looks like, is set for a big upgrade. So they're training Neo on real-world videos now. So they are constantly scraping and actually asking for contributions of domestic videos, things that happen in the home, things that Neo should be aware of that maybe Neo can do in the future. And the stack that they're using to do this is actually proving to be quite successful in training Neo to learn and understand and then be able to repeat autonomously some of the things that it is learning from. So, I mean, it's not a surprise that we're using real world videos to train physical AI, but it seems to be much more successful and at the speed of success that we didn't anticipate. What do you guys think?
I think that there is a large, there's a lot of interest in research about video-based training at the moment. And I think it just comes from the fact that at the moment, a lot of the training is done on text. But when you look, like, you train based upon textual information. You read text, that's what you feed it, and that's what the model outputs. A promising alternative to that is doing that with video and sensory and other sensory means. So there are some scholars that think that the information density that you can convey with video is much higher than that with text. So you could think about using that video data in training to, for example, like processing frames or using videos for it. And I think that with that, you can generate new types of models, generate more powerful models. So I think that that's an interesting space to watch from my point of view.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the problems that we need to solve. There is lots of things that we need to fix, right? First, of course, is training. Training takes a while. You've seen with Tesla, they're doing the same thing that Tesla did at the end of the day, right? Where they have a kind of like working thing they release to market and then take 12 years of data from the users, which is nothing bad, right? We think, oh, but it's privacy. Just a way to go because you cannot generate enough data in like a studio. And then after 12 years, this is going to be fantastic. Now, I do think, though, that all of these things are not going to work unless we fix the problem of energy. Like we don't have batteries that are powerful enough. We don't have enough energy in the world to power all of these things. I'm following super closely the development of like nuclear batteries. I'm bringing it off topic a little bit, but that's going to be an unlock for these kind of things. Because if you have right now, I think these can live like 6 hours, best case scenario, like a full usage. 6 hours is nothing, especially if you need to train them. Think training for 6 hours and then charging for like 7 hours and then training for another 6 hours. If these things can run like for 50 years nonstop, then this is going to be the unlock, in my opinion.
Yes.
Massive. Well, that's all from me on this week's Pulse.
Yeah, all right. So then let's get to the Warden news section, I guess. And Vitto, thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge, for sharing more with us today. It was a pleasure having you here first time and hopefully not the last one.
Thank you for having me, team. That was super fun, super interesting.
Thanks, Vitto. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So let's get to Warden news. Yay. So obviously, as you said before, Josh, the elephant in the room, we have another elephant. The registration for the airdrop has been closed.
Yes.
Any takes on that? How did that go? Did the whole process go as you expected, or something happened out of hand? Can you just share briefly?
Yeah, sure. So I think just to recap where we're at for everybody who's watching, registration closed yesterday. So we gave everybody just over a 10-day period to register for the airdrop. So we've seen projects do wild things, like give people 12 hours to register. People wake up in another time zone and they've missed it, and that's unacceptable. So 10 days we gave people to register. We've actually been problem solving some issues that some people have had with their wallets. So if you've submitted an issue, We haven't forgotten about you. We are working through all of those. We have received a lot, so bear with us. Some people have had their accounts suspended, their X accounts, which were connected to their Warden accounts. Some people have had issues connecting their wallets, where they did some eligible activity, having issues connected that to the Warden account. So we're working through all of it. We haven't forgotten about anything. So be patient and please bear with us. So registrations are now closed, which gives us a bit of time to reflect and look at the scale and nature of the registrations we've had. The North Star for us is simple. And the reason we did this process with all of the mechanisms we built into it was to ensure that we do not accept any botted activity, any Sybil activity. We want to make sure that the recipients of our airdrop are deserving and a human. So if that's you, you shouldn't be concerned at all. You are our person. You are our community. So all in all, it went very well. I think we've learned a lesson that communication is really important, more important than we already knew it to be, which means that we just have to throw ourselves out there into Telegram and Discord and X and problem solve with people in chat. So it's been full on, but it's been really good. And so thank you for everybody for participating. Thank you for everybody's feedback. The next exciting stage, which is the claim, further details will be announced on that very soon.
Very soon. All right. Stay tuned, everyone. Stay tuned and keep calm and carry on. And David, I think I asked this when we had Luis before, but I want to ask you, obviously, with this pre-TG stage and everything, there's a lot of pressure on the team. And what I noticed, for example, like I've been in the space since early 2021. I've also worked and talked with different founders, but not all of them are that, open and transparent in their communication. And what you guys are doing is basically you're running, weekly live streams or just being there for your community all the time. How do you cope with that? For example, doesn't it put even more pressure on you being present all the time?
I think, I think that speaking for the team, like we know each other well. We've worked with each other for a long time, and things can get hectic. Like especially when you're in a position where we are in, for example, now. But we know each other. We've worked as a team before, and I think the most important thing during that time is take a step back, reflect, zoom out, assess the big picture. If there's a problem, you fix it. Try to take the emotion out, and you get it done. Everything else is noise. So I think that's very much how we work internally. That's the culture that we're trying to establish, and we want to have fun while we're doing it, right? Like this is the company that we created. We want to work with like-minded people, and yes, even though sometimes things can get challenging and you can run into a stressful situation, it's always fun. It's fun to be there and to give it your best.
Sure, that reminds me. I think it's NVIDIA CEO said in one of his interviews that when he was asked the question like, why did he expect the success that they had at the end, and he said like, we were just having fun. It was just like playing ping pong, and like, of course, like they aimed for something big, but they didn't have like those expectations, and they were just in the process. And so a question to both of you: how, as a project, as founder of a project, how do you find that balance between, being that real alpha project and just like staying on your mission, and between what your community wants and what they need, what people basically want to see, to hear from you? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a condition in crypto and Web3 that people, being teams, build what they think people need. You have an idea and you're like, I'm building this and it looks this way and I've got really strong views about it. Actually, the best teams and the most successful teams are constantly iterating and changing based on their users' feedback and their community's feedback. And what we've tried to do is exactly the same. When we first started Warden over 2 years ago, we had a slightly different view for what people wanted. We knew they wanted AI, we knew they wanted to consume it, but we didn't have a good understanding of how they want to consume it. Now, as we listened to developers, as we listened to users, it became clear that agents will be the vehicle for consumption and execution. And those agents should do things that add value to individuals' users' lives and daily routines. So listening to users, whether they're the developers that are building for you or the users that are using your platform, is the absolute cornerstone for, I think, our success, right? I think we've had very strong product market fit to date, and that will only stay true if we listen to our users. And we're building in a new area. You know, this isn't well-trodden territory that we're in. We're building an agentic wallet. If you say that to most people, they're like, what the hell is that? Like, what's in it? What does it do? Well, when you scratch the surface, it can do so much. Fine. But what do users want it to do? What upgrades do they want to see their wallet have tomorrow if they could? What will they actually adopt if you give them the ability to adopt it? And so for us, it's all about ears to the ground, listening to users' feedback and making sure that we're building towards that feedback. So as a project, there's an element, I hope, of humility where we're trying to listen, where we don't necessarily know best. We can build it, but we don't know best. We're not going to tell you what's best, but we're going to try and aggregate as many of the great feedbacks and signals that we're getting from people and give them the best product that we can. Amazing.
David, what about you?
Yeah, I think being a founder is really romanticized. I mean, you know, you always hear these stories about the founders. The other side of the story, the actual side of the story, is that you're going to miss dinner with your kids. It means that you're going to wake up at night second guessing yourself. It means you're going to get it wrong. It means you're going to say something that you regret later. And it means that you might need to let go of what you thought was right initially. So that's the reality of being a founder. Now, with all those drawbacks, there's also some really cool things that come with it. You can create something that's very unique, that's never been done before. You have the freedom to build with whom you want on the stuff that actually matters. You can work towards the change that you want to see. So I think that's the decision that everybody needs to take when they're thinking about whether entrepreneurship is for them.
As they say, be the change you want to see in the world. So if you want to see the change, start small, start from you. Amazing. I really love our, every episode, even more and more, and the conversations we're having. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Any last words before we wrap up?
I think from my side, just a note of thanks. Again, we are getting a lot of really positive feedback and some really useful constructive criticism about our product, about how we talk about it, about how people use it. Keep it coming. It's the lifeblood for us in getting this right. So we are really, really, really grateful for all of that feedback, and keep it coming. We frankly can't get enough of it. What would you say, David?
I think nothing more to add. I mean, like I said, sometimes it's about letting go of what you initially thought, and that's where the user feedback is so important, right? We listen to it, we value it, we gear our roadmap towards it. So the more that we can get, the better.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Again, it was a pleasure. Episode number 10 already. So let's wrap this up and get ready for the next week. Big things are coming. Make sure to get some sleep before that. And I really hope you will not miss dinner with your kids. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Yuli.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Thanks, guys.